today we are going to meet one of my clients and closest friends, Louie Torres. He owns not one, but two 7-figure businesses. I'm super excited to share his story because he faced a lot of adversity during his come up, so it's definitely an interesting story. Fun fact about Louie, he actually was the first marketing agency we worked with the e-commerce accounts, and we still work with Louie to this day. So without further ado, let's run upstairs and meet him. I forgot to text him. I hope he opens the door. What's up, bro? How's it going? Good to see you. Unleashed Consulting, this is the big business here we're checking out first.
Puppers, the team, the squad.
The dogs are on place here. Can you explain the importance of why the dogs are on here?
So right now we're working, so are my dogs. This is their job, and if they do this, then they get rewarded.
That's so awesome. Looks like you got a really cool green room in here.
It's our green room. This is where we do some of our silly stuff. And then I got this, kind of like a podcast wall if I need to. So I just got different backgrounds because you got to be able to stop the attention of the person that's scrolling on their phone in that moment. Wanna make some content?
Yeah, for sure.
This is where our support team works and our onboarding team. This is Pepper, who our app is named after, our CRM. She's always ready to work, always ready to help our clients out.
There's an HR jar here. What is the HR jar about?
Sometimes you may say something that HR would frown upon. So when that happens, you have to put money in the HR jar.
This is our sales room. So we've got our downtown view right here. This is our client map. Every place that you see one of these pins, we have a client there. Over here, we got my office. As you can see, I love my quotes, they keep me going. I got my 2 Comma Club award, my first one here, my second one's at the house. This was always like my ideal scene. Having an office, having a space where my team comes in. And my coach used to ask me all the time, what is your ideal scene? What does that look like to you? In order for you to reach your goal, you have to be imagining it, you have to put it on paper, you have to read it out loud. This was it, getting an office downtown. We literally can walk here from my house and walk my dogs here.
Seems like you're a Rams fan.
Yes, a diehard Rams fan. Another one of my dreams that I was able to realize last year was I went to the Super Bowl. 4 years ago, the LA Rams went to the Super Bowl in Atlanta. It was a drive away from me. I couldn't afford tickets. I was still waiting tables, I was still getting the business going. And I told Michelle, I said, if the Rams ever go to the Super Bowl again, I will never not be there. And last year, 10 grand seat, we ended up at the Super Bowl. It was amazing to be there, firsthand see it, realize like a childhood dream. I couldn't have done it without my awesome team here at Unleashed.
Marissa.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Before you leave, a couple questions for you.
Sure.
For the people at home. How long have you been working here?
So I've been with Unleashed a little over a year and a half now.
Awesome. You love what you do?
I do. I really, really do. I'm the onboarding specialist. I get to know more about them and their business, how we're going to customize everything to them and help them continue to grow their business.
Tell me about the best part of your day.
Hearing the success of our clients. So that's just kind of the best part of my day, is getting the feedback of how I've been able to be a very, very small part of this business growing for a small business owner.
That's so awesome. Louie, you've got an awesome operation here. Tell me a little bit about the history of the business. How did you get started?
We got started in 2020. This was something that I've been thinking about doing it for a long time. I had a life-changing moment with my girlfriend Michelle and our Chihuahua, and it got really, really difficult for me to be around him in the house or to even take him out on walks. It was embarrassing, it was frustrating. It was me or the dog. And we got professional training. We had no idea that this level of professional training even existed. Typically when you see dog training, you might see like PetSmart, Petco, which is like not real training in my opinion. They're just kind of making a dog sit and paw for a treat. But I'm talking about a dog that wants to bite people and bite other dogs. You can't just do Petco training, right? Finally got a guy to call us back. He comes out to the house, does an in-person evaluation. We were mind blown. Beginning of the session, Alfie's trying to bite him. By the end, Alfie's taking food from him and giving him like a perfect walk, not pulling. Needless to say, we were ready to sign up until he dropped his price, $1,500 for 6 lessons. Michelle and I are looking at each other like, what? $1,500 to train our dog? Couldn't believe it. That's when I had a light bulb moment as well. And I was like, damn, how many other people are struggling just like me and Charlotte paying this kind of money? Michelle got her taxes back and we used that money on the dog training. And I had been telling Michelle, like, I really want to help this dog trainer. I asked him, I said, hey, I would love to do your marketing, 30 days for free, see what the results look like. He denied. He said that he was really busy relying on word of mouth, like most of this industry. Word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth. Crazy thing is the facility that you're gonna see today at Obedient Canine, that was his facility that went under because he relied on word of mouth.
Interesting.
And now full circle moment, I'm in there. And now we're the #1 dog training company in Charlotte in less than a year.
It seems like this space in general is unsophisticated I'm talking about dog training in general, seems unsophisticated in terms of their marketing process. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely fair to say. It was very easy for me to come in and kind of take over the market very quickly. So when I came in, there were a couple coaches that had been dog trainers previously, read a Russell Brunson book or a couple YouTube videos, and now they're the marketing authority in the space. You know, they did okay. They got some decent results, better than a local mom and pop that had no experience in the dog training niche. However, it just wasn't at the caliber that I was coming in with. So when I came in, I blew these coaches out of the water and made my first $1 million in this niche during the pandemic. I brought on Harper because I had so many leads coming in that I was like, okay, perfect timing to go and hire salespeople. And that's one thing where most marketing agencies fail. It's because they start hiring in the wrong order, and payroll, it gets too big and they can't scale.
When you have overhead, it's very difficult to consistently grow because it's gonna be peaks and valleys. It can be very volatile in the beginning. I think you're 100% on the ball with that.
You just have to have consistent leads and you have to have sales.
It seems like you're doing tremendous in this space. There was something that you were doing different. What is it that really disrupted what existed in the space already?
Finding out where there were leaks in the pipes for these trainers and then fixing those. For example, having a CRM where you can actually see your leads, see the conversations, track everything was a major thing that this industry had. They have no CRM.
That's technology disruption 101.
They're literally using paper and pen still to do their contracts. I'm sitting here like, what? They got filing cabinets. I'm like, guys, it's in the palm of your hand. What are we doing? We actually do an app class where we would teach them how to use this technology. It's a 3-step onboarding. The first one is for us to understand their customer avatar, their business, why they got into it, like ad copy stuff. The second onboarding call is literally a meet where they come in and we teach them how to use the app. We set up a flow based on their business. And then the last one is we check the creatives, the landing pages, the funnels, and then we test everything. So we just gotta make sure we set them up for success.
I think that pretty much covers this business. I did tell all the people at home that we would check out your other business because you have 2 7-figure businesses. So tell us a little bit about what we're gonna see next, and then we can hit the road here.
I am the only person on this planet that has a 7-figure marketing agency for dog training businesses and actually owns a 7-figure dog training business today, because there's a few that are trying to do it. They're literally like trying to mimic what Unleashed is. We're the only ones that have done it successfully for both. So let's head out. We're gonna go check out Obedient Canine, which is our dog training facility in downtown Charlotte. All right, guys, we're on the business number 2. Obedient Canine, welcome. Hey man, so if you're gonna be shadowing for the day, I need you to be on point with your branding.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm all set. I'm a dog trainer now. Look at this.
This is our front desk area, so when people come in, they get greeted here. As you can see, we have our welcome board here. So these are our students that are coming in on the day train. These are the evaluations that are just guests that come in. So our clients come in, they see their name on there. They're not even part of the pack yet.
So students are the people that have enrolled with dog training. The guests are the people that they're here for the initial evaluation and still making that decision, basically. Right.
Exactly. And we have our graduate wall back here. A lot of grads.
I gotta send you a picture of my dog.
Yep.
These guys trained my dog and it's been life-changing, to say the least.
So this is our trademarked lingo. Dog speak dog, we'll teach you how. Everyone comes in and they're like, leave it, sit, sit. And they're actually just creating more frustration for the dog because the dog doesn't speak English. We teach them how to communicate using the leash. That's how dogs communicate. When the dogs graduate, they come here, they get a nice little photo, and then they post it on their social media, and then we get more referrals. So they'll have their dog come up and sit on here and take a photo. Right, so the photo ops go into like them just sharing content for free, and we get organic traffic.
Always be marketing.
Always be marketing. And we actually just got a client from a branded place cot recently the other day. Rover, there's an app where they go and they let your dogs out for you. She went to one of our clients' homes. Dog used to be super fearful, On the walks, she went back and she was like, holy crap, your dog did a complete turnaround. Why is it so calm? She saw the place cot in the house. She was like, obedient canine. And she looked us up and she brought her dog in and she was like, did you guys train a dog named Murphy? We're like, yeah, he's on the graduate board. She's like, oh my God, that dog is completely different from when I walked it a year ago. I cannot believe it. Can you train my dog? And then we got a new client. So everything is branded. A lot of trainers, they don't brand their stuff. They just go and they buy bulk, like whatever's out there. So we went to Alibaba and we found our source, our plug, and now we've got, all of our stuff coming from China. My old drop shipping days, AliExpress, Alibaba, DHgate. A lot of you guys know what I'm talking about.
Kelly, you are the GM here. How long have you been with the company?
We started getting clients here in Charlotte in about November 2021. So
Awesome.
that's pretty much when I started.
Were you a dog trainer before that?
I was, yeah. I've been working with dogs for a while.
What do you love about this company?
I love that I found the place, I feel like I was just in the right spot at the right time. Help build a company. There's a lot to learn in that process too. So I just feel really lucky that I was able to be a part of it from the beginning here. So.
How do you find Louie as a leader?
Honestly, it's been really fun to see Louie grow with this company, a person as a leader as well. It's been amazing to see how accommodating he is when I do struggle with, changes throughout the company, because each position I've had in the company has been so much different, and our transition from when I was just doing in-home training to when we were at a training house to when we started the facility to when we have 8 people on staff. Everything's caused little tiffs, I guess. Seeing him adapt to that and seeing him, accommodate the things that I've been struggling with through those changes. And he's grown into be truly an amazing leader.
Coming in for your evaluation, you're either going to be in this room or this room. These are the evaluation rooms. Typically in one of these rooms, we're going to have one of our dogs in here. We use one of our dogs to see how reactive their dog is. We want to be able to see how their dog is going to be interacting. It just gives us an idea of how much training they actually need. So underneath you can see the bite suits. You get in one of these.
Bites, what is this for?
This is for training utility dogs to attack on command.
So I'm a bit nervous. These guys just told me that I'm going to get attacked by a dog today. This is the dog here that's going to attack me.
We train dogs to do everything because the dog has to be able to have regular obedience where it can be around family and kids, but also still attack a potential threat on command or just make the decision to do that if they deem it a threat. It's a lot of training. It's about a year-long process to make sure that the dog can do both. Be chill, have an off switch, and then have an on switch when they deem something a threat. So the reason we have it set up with all these place cots and kennels right next to each other is because this is how you socialize dogs. People don't realize this, right? They come in and they're like, I want my dog to be socialized, thinking that socialization means letting my dogs play with each other. But remember when we were kids and we went to school, we just sat at a desk. That's what socialization is. We did it for 12 years. We sat at a desk for 8 hours a day and just learned to ignore the other children and focus on the teacher. That's what socialization really is. And if we did really good, we got 30 minutes of recess. All day isn't recess. So what we do with our dogs is we bring them to these doggy daycares. They run around for the entire day and they never learn to just be calm. And they never learn to just focus, which is why we get so many dogs in here, because they struggle with reactivity, with overexcitement, with anxiety, just because they never have structure. So that's what this is. We created an environment where there's structure, you can be around other distractions, and you're learning to literally just exist next to them.
So I see some of the trainers have clickers or giving food. Can you go a little bit more in detail?
We start with the leash. The leash is our Google Translate. All right, we speak English, our dogs speak dog, and we need to communicate to them what the expectations are, what we want them to do. The clicker is a tool that we use what we call free shaping. Once we tell the dog what we don't want them doing, once we tell the dog the boundaries and the expectations, then we want them to make good decisions within those parameters. If they make really good decisions, we can use that click to tell them, hey, you did a really good job, come get your reward. So that's where you build up a dog that's learning to make better decisions. So the difference between us and any other training company in Charlotte is we take the time to teach the dog how to make better decisions, where most training companies, they're just trying to burn interns clients. They just teach them commands. But with us, it's more along the lines of, let's give the dog a chance to make the right decision. It'll make more sense if I show you.
Yeah.
Cool? All right, I'll show you. One of the things that our clients always tell us is that their dogs go nuts when they see a squirrel, no pun intended.
money shot. Are you getting that? Louie loves his costumes.
How do I look?
You look fantastic.
Oh, my acorns.
So we always got to make sure we're using protection. So that's what Chris is doing right now.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
This dog is looking at me like it's lunchtime. Oh, that was pretty scary. Like this. So I am a survivor. This is post-dog attack. That dog was really freaking scary. So we've seen 2 7-figure businesses. What you have here is really amazing. Is there anything else you want to show us here?
So thanks for stopping in and checking them out. But tonight we're gonna go to the Hornets game. I got season tickets. So if you're interested, you and your crew can come out.
Absolutely.
We'll go to my place at 6 o'clock, get a drink, and then we'll head out.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, what's going on, man? Welcome. Big Rams fan, goes with all my blue and yellow. Wore this to the Super Bowl when we won. This is my most valuable jersey. Michelle got me this one. Always a jersey that I wanted. She got this for me for my birthday. The original Mitchell and Ness. I always wanted it as a kid, but I could never afford it. And I got like some classics like the Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Academy. Jesus Shuttlesworth, Ray Allen. He Got Game with Denzel Washington. Good movie.
Thanks so much for the invite to the game. Super excited to go. Tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurship journey. You know, where did it start? We saw your 2 7-figure businesses. I just want to know a little bit more about Louie Torres and your journey.
First hustle was flea markets, selling the Pokemon cards. Yeah, I was like 9 years old. I would go to the flea markets with my grandparents because that's what I did. I wasn't a normal kid. My mother was 25, so she was out being a 25-year-old, and I was being raised by my grandparents. And they were hustlers, so they would go down to the city, buy merchandise from Chinatown, drive upstate, and flip it at the flea markets. We'd have this big tent. I'd have my little table with the Pokemon cards, and I'd be selling little packs of cards to 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old kids.
Where would the cards come from?
I'd go buy them, and I would make my own packs. Yeah.
So mark them up and figure out what a profitable amount would be.
I'd make like $100, like a 10-year-old kid.
I remember back in the New York days, you were working in sales in the city. So help me understand how you went from Vima to your sales training to starting to operate your own agency.
When I was doing the multi-level marketing, it was a good way for me to start doing personal development, studying entrepreneurs and reading and growing from a personal perspective. I got into sales in the city because when I tried to do my own thing, which was a social media marketing agency, back in 2013, they didn't exist yet. There was nothing out there, right? Instagram just started that year, right? So we just had Facebook, and I had this concept of doing sponsored ads before sponsored ads were a thing. And so I would find micro influencers and I would try to hook them up with small businesses. And I tried to grow too big too fast. Like I tried to go after like big name brands and they just didn't see the power of social media. I was getting shut down by everyone. I couldn't book meetings. I couldn't even get through gatekeepers. That's when I realized I have no business experience. I need to go work for someone else, learn, get that experience, get that exposure, learn from people that are already doing it at that level, and then I can get the skill sets to go do it on my own eventually one day.
Okay, so what was that first experience that you got in New York City?
Yeah, Wall Street. Dial in $500 a day for a broker above me, 2 phones side by side, ding, 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 ding. First person to answer, I'd hang up the other phone and give them the pitch. And my goal was to get 10 qualified leads a day. So I do 500 dials to get 100 connects, to get 10 qualified leads a day. That was a goal. I moved back in with my family in Poughkeepsie, so I was commuting 2 hours and 45 minutes one way to Wall Street and then another 2:45 back. So I spent 5.5 hours commuting. Wow. So I was like super depressed. I had no life. It was, you know, go do the dolls, come home. Mother would have a plate for me in the microwave, eat, shower, go to bed, wake up and do it all over again, 5:30. I actually tore my ACL, which is why I didn't keep going with it. It made the commute really hard and I had to take time off. And during that time off, I got offered another position from a recruiter. So I had to get surgery, I couldn't commute, I was on crutches. I did it for a little bit, but after I got the surgery, you're on a couch for a week, 2 weeks on painkillers.
Right.
So during that time, I was networking, seeing what else was out there, and I got the headhunting opportunity.
Tell me a little bit about what you did there.
We were a top 3 company out of London, out of the UK, and we were doing pharma, networking with high-level pharma execs. This is something I actually really enjoyed because at first, it was difficult. It was definitely challenging. I didn't know anything about my industries. I had no idea about my niche. It was hard to connect with people. A lot of my people in my industry were foreign. They were either from China or from India, and PhD level, so extremely intelligent, and they're speaking to this kid trying to sell them on an opportunity. What I realized quickly was if I was going to do sales at the highest level, the more product knowledge I had, it would, you know, make my life easier. And so what I used to do was I would study Mandarin on the subway. You couldn't really do anything anyways, right? You would either read or you didn't have service down there. So I started learning Mandarin so I can connect with my prospects better and just have a small edge over everyone else that could not have an entry-level conversation in Mandarin. Right. So it set me apart. And then they were like, wow, you're actually trying to connect with me on a cultural level. And it made selling so much easier, and consulting, right? I got like Rookie of the Year, I was crushing it, and it just opened up a whole new lane for me from a sales perspective. Like calling from Wall Street with a script was cool. You learn tone, you learn cadence, you learn timing, right? But when you do sales from a consultative standpoint, and it's a lot more of asking questions and being an active listener and not trying to speak over someone or have the gift of gab, but actually listening to them and trying to problem solve, it just changed the whole concept of sales to me.
How'd you get from having all this sales experience to launching your first agency?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. And I actually got sued. And so I got hit with my non-compete. They enforced it. They sued me. They took back all my salary that I was making there. I had to settle because I couldn't afford the lawyer fees. And I had to pay back all the commissions that I had on the side that I had made. So I literally closed like a $50K deal. I'm like 24 years old. I'm super psyched, ready to cash out. It's in my bank account. I'm like, yeah, I'm all excited. I'm telling my parents, like, I'm starting my own thing on the side. Like, I'm crushing it. And they came after me. I got fired. I was literally about to put my 2 weeks notice in. I got fired. And, you know, they came after me with that, and I had to pay everything back. Meanwhile, I'm blackballed from the industry, because now I have a public case out there. If anyone that does a background check, I'm not gonna be able to get a job anywhere. While I was stressing out, thinking I'm gonna get criminal charges brought up on me, literally hair dropping out of my freaking head, Michelle's like, you shouldn't be telling this story. But I'm okay telling this story because like I've come so far and I've changed so much, and I'm not that person that cuts corners anymore, so I honestly don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind sharing the story. It was a different person. I literally went back, I got a job at Cheesecake Factory, paying off those bills, and I was starting a new hustle. Went back to the marketing agency now that I have the sales experience, and then I started blowing that up. And when I finally started making like 120K, I was like, wow, this is the life. But then after a couple of years of that, you realize there's something more out there. You can help more people, you can do more. Working from home in my home office wasn't what I wanted. I wanted more. I wanted that ideal scene, which you saw today at Unleashed.
Any tips for up-and-coming entrepreneurs, maybe someone who wants to get into the agency space or open up a dog training facility or just entrepreneur in general? What type of advice would you give them?
The best piece of advice that I could give anyone is do not listen to anyone that does not have what you want. If like your parents are saying don't do it, or your friends or your family or the people around you are saying, oh, like that's not realistic, run away. You don't want to hang out with people that have realistic goals. I want to hang out with people that have unrealistic goals. I want to hang out with people that want to be the fucking president. You know what I mean? Like, why put ourselves in these little boxes of what's achievable in our life? And I think the reason why people struggle is because they're constantly getting information from others. Oh, that's unrealistic. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's not attainable. And then we start doubting ourselves and creating limiting beliefs. Best piece of advice is literally find people that are crazy, find people that are willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. It's a tough decision to make. Right. I'm not saying you can't love your family and friends. I'm just saying don't spend a majority of your time with them if they're not aligned with your visions and your goals.
Makes complete sense. Awesome. Well, I think we've got a game here to catch. I don't know when we have to leave.
Yeah, we actually got to leave right now. Let's hit it.
All right, and that concludes our day together. Until next time, take care, everybody.